welcome to Village Broadcast Station.
Today, we cover several stories that have occurred within the 1920s to the 1950s. A brief introduction of our history plan is the Great Depression, the Battle of Britain, Germany invading France, and the Holocaust.
As you can see, in the beginning of the 1920s, there was a huge increase within our stock market. But unfortunately, the stock market had crashed on October 29th, 1929, also known as Black Tuesday.
People were left with no money, so that they had to sell goods. Their paper money was useless, and their possessions had more value. For example, a wheelbarrow made out of steel bought groceries, not money.
Up next is France. They were ready to defend themselves against the Germans. After World War I, the French built a line of concrete bunkers and fortifications called the Maginot Line along the German border.
However, the Maginot Line didn't border Belgium or Luxembourg. Hitler decided to invade through several countries to get into France. So Hitler forced his troops to parachute into the Netherlands and sent an army into army tanks to Belgium and to Luxembourg.
As soon as it began, the German troops easily smashed through the French lines and then raced across northern France to the English Channel. The British and French armies were still in Belgium and couldn't move back into France quickly enough.
The French and British armies weren't trapped. The Germans have captured every single port but Dunkirk. No one knows the reason why Hitler had stopped, but this gave the British time to strengthen their line.
About 338,000 British and French troops were saved. Hitler accepted the French surrender in the same railway car in which the Germans had surrendered at the end of World War I.
Germany now occupies much of northern France and its Atlantic coastline. To govern the rest of the country, Germany has installed a puppet government at the town of Vichy and made Marshal Philippe Pétain the new government's figurehead leader.
Germany has definitely won this battle without a shot. Next, we're going to go into the Battle of Britain. To give you a brief history, Germany had invaded all of Europe, and Britain was the last country to be attacked.
Many British and French traveled from the mainland of Britain to the small islands above Britain. People used all kinds of water transportation, from tugboats to fishermen boats.
This battle began in July 1940, and luckily, Germany retreated back to their base due to Britain's strong advantage of having a radar that could detect air forces, which was used to target the airplanes.
One of the most devastating stories today is about the heartbreaking deaths of nearly 6 million Jews by the Nazis.
To Nazis, all Jewish people were evil, no matter what occupation, education, or religion they had. They wanted to persecute even those who were disabled, gypsies, Aryans, and Slavic. They wanted a quick way to terminate those who they hate. This is one of the many few barracks that housed the Jews in these concentration camps. These concentration camps consisted of 100,000 people and had 300 prison barracks. Leon Bass had this to say.
Well, I looked at the bottom bunk below me and I saw one man. He was too weak to get up. He could barely move his head. And his was skin and bone, looked as if he was a skeleton. His eyes were deep set. And he had uttered no sound. He just stared at me with those eyes, and they still haunt me to this day.
Auschwitz's gas chambers were built to kill 2,000 people at a time. Even they killed 12,000 people at one day. The bodies were then burned in giant crematoriums, such as this one. People who lived around the crematoriums could claim the stench in the air as burning human flesh.
Obstürmt der Stein, ob die Sonne uns lacht, der Tag jeden weiß.
There's still great controversy as to how and why an event as horrifying as the Holocaust could have occurred. I'm Matt Henriquez.
And I'm Laura Newman. This concludes our broadcast for today. Stay tuned for next week's episode about the Gathering Storm. Who put a question mark at the end of the teleprompter?
Them. Only them.